and you go on the other side, the other entrance, you go through security, and they'll tell you what floor. I believe it's the 11th floor. But make sure you continue calling and emailing as well. That all makes a difference. But while you're here, let's put some direct pressure on his office. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, this. That stunned me a little bit. Sorry, I'm so sorry that I'm so emotional about it, but what stunned me was that, you know, the whole Republican, it was a farce, right? The whole investigation thing was a complete farce. And I thought to myself, if they sat there and they listened to Dr. Ford's testimony, listened to it, and felt it, and then they sat there and said, we're calling for the vote tomorrow morning at 9. We're calling for the vote tomorrow morning at 9:30 anyway. Well, you know what that said to me? She could have stood on her head and stood with nickels. They didn't care what came out of her mouth. They had no intention of doing anything other than calling for the vote. That was, to me, I felt like they just pat all of us women on the head and said, there, little girl, you know, you threw your temper tantrum, and we listened to you. Bullshit. Yeah. Who else? Alan? I'm calling on people now. Do not feel obligated to speak. I just know Alan. I know he'll have something he wants to add here.
So I wasn't prepared for this, but thank you all for coming out. I've got spare signs if you want one, or two, or one or the other, or both. I'm just really offended by the processes going on here. We understood weeks and weeks ago that Brett Kavanaugh lies. He lies under oath. We watched it happen in weeks and weeks and weeks, and then yesterday we watched him lie and scream and yell and cry. He is totally, wholly unfit for office, but we shouldn't be surprised that an accused rapist in the White House would like an accused rapist to sit on the Supreme Court.
All right. There you go. So let's make a little bit more noise for Senator Toomey upstairs. What do you think about that? All right. How about we start with another round of Believe Survivors? Believe Survivors! Believe Survivors! Believe Survivors! Believe Survivors! Believe Survivors! And I'm gonna name some of the brave women who've come forward. Believe Dr. Ford! Believe Dr. Ford! Believe Dr. Ford! We believe Dr. Ford! How about believe Deborah Ramirez? Believe Deborah Ramirez! Believe Deborah Ramirez! Believe Deborah Ramirez! How about believing Julie Swetnick? Believe Julie Swetnick! Believe Julie Swetnick! Believe Julie Swetnick! We believe survivors of sexual assault. This deserves a fair investigation. Right? We are here on behalf of those three very brave women who came forward under really difficult circumstances. I think we've all seen and heard what they are going through right now, just for sharing a story that is fair and true and deserves its day in court. And we know there are millions of women out there who have experienced similar experiences, similar trauma, similar events, who have not yet been heard, and millions who have been heard and have not been believed, and whose attackers have not been brought to justice. So on behalf of these three women and women everywhere, we stand today, we stand every day, and we will not go back in the fight for women's rights. And let's not forget, it's not just women, right? Sexual violence affects all of us. So in the rights of everybody who's experienced this kind of trauma. Absolutely, right? All right, so some more noise for Senator Toomey. I have a whole roundup of cheers I printed. Let's see what we have. All right. How about some shaming? You want to shame Kavanaugh? Shame Kavanaugh? I apologize again, my voice is in and out, but let's try it, okay? How about shame on Kavanaugh? Shame on Kavanaugh! 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 Who else do we want to shame? Toomey! Shame on 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 Toomey! Anybody else? How about shame on Chuck Grassley? Shame on Grassley! Shame on Grassley! Shame on Grassley! Shame remind everyone that the Supreme Court is supposed to elect judges who are as close to being nonpartisan as possible. And yesterday, in the testimony delivered by Judge Kavanaugh, that testimony revealed, while not even having the job yet, just how partisan he already is. That's dangerous. Right. Who here expected the Clintons were going to come up during his testimony yesterday? Man, talk about an angry person, right? Yeah. Wow, talk about holding a grudge, right? Is that the kind of person deciding some of the most important decisions our country is facing? Who should be? No, absolutely not. I think that was shocking. I think that was a shocking additional thing that happened yesterday. Was a real first-hand display of the temperament of this person. All right. Scanning. Anyone else who'd like to? I'm not sure. We'll look for anything out here, right? Right. And we're going to keep going with some chanting, get some visibility. Thank you so much to the news crews that have come out today and helping us get this word out. I want to remind all of us that we are so powerful individually. We're powerful when we come together, and we have huge power back in our communities, right? So every time you're fired up about an issue, reach out to a couple friends and ask them to call and to write and to visit too. Remind your friends to vote. When is our registration deadline here in Pennsylvania?
October 9th.
October 9th. That's coming up soon, right?
7th if you're doing it online.
Thank you. Okay, the 7th. I actually got this online. Okay, the 7th. Why don't we say the 6th so that you get out there early? It's soon. 7th online. 9th is paper. Okay, so that's in less than 2 weeks. Is that right? More or less? So if you have moved, if you have teenagers who may have just turned 18, if you have anybody you need to make sure is getting out, sorry, what's that? Gone to college, absentee voting, or will be 18 by the election, thank you. This is a really important task for you. Go home today, make sure they're registered, right? Make sure they vote. Soon we're all going to be switching into making sure everybody gets out to vote. So we have a couple more weeks.
I just think it's important to remember on November 6th when you go to vote, there doesn't appear to be a single Republican who's willing to take a decent stand with regard to this sham nomination. So take that to the ballot box.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to go home. We're all going to make sure our friends, family are registered, and we're going to make sure they vote. We're also going to make sure they continue to put pressure on today. We're going to go upstairs in groups. We're also going to call, and we're going to continue emailing. And in fact, is there a first group who wants to volunteer to go up now? Well, we're going to be out here for a bit, so you won't come out to nobody here. We'll be here for you. All right, thank you. How about we send 5 folks up? You probably won't be able to bring signs upstairs. So if you have any bigger signs, leave them here. But we'll be here until you get back. You do need a picture ID. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yes.
Investigation. I think somebody should go federally investigate guys in our system. Stole my retirement. There falls in Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud. I got fake IDs, creating visits that were never happened, but they're going for them. So I support what you're doing here. But you want to talk about crime? Give me my retirement back. All right.
No, thank you. You know what? It's across all these issues, right? Today it's this. We all have many issues in our lives. Keep speaking out, and yeah, use your paper.